Bitcoin has just done something historic. Do you see this rank correlation index right here? Do you see this red line right here that just crossed the green line? This is going to make history. People are going to talk about this for years to come. The moment that Bitcoin crossed here on the rank correlation index. This is something that we anticipated. This is something that we've been following, and this is the moment of truth. The time is now. I need to explain to you what is about to happen next, because it's going to take the world by storm and put Bitcoin on the global map. And you need to be ready for the precise move that Bitcoin is about to make, because things are heating up. If you're new to the channel, welcome in. My name is Steve. On this channel, we take no paid ads. There are no paid affiliate links down below. Today's video is not sponsored by anybody. We don't take dirty money from any coin to promote any coin or any dirty crypto company. We never have, and we never will. Instead, we focus on the cold, hard facts in the charts that actually help people. The only thing I'm asking is that you hit the subscribe button so we can keep doing what we're doing and not take any money from anybody. So hit that subscribe button and let's jump into it. We're on the monthly chart. We're on the Bitcoin US dollar index, and we have just made history. But we have to talk about the magnitude of history that Bitcoin has just made. In the middle of our screen, we have the rank correlation index. One of the best indicators you can have in the crypto space to keep you on target for Bitcoin's next top. It's right in front of you. On the bottom of our screen, we have the Traders Dynamic Index. This tells us everything we need to know about the strength of the move and what Bitcoin is going to do next. Let me break it down in a simple and easy way. We'll start at the bottom of our screen with the Traders Dynamic Index. And if we rewind the clock back to the bottom of the market, right? When we were at the bottom of the market, as you know, everybody was screaming that we were going to go below 10K. We were one of the few idiots who were like, actually, based on the facts and the charts, it's highly probable that the bottom is in. When we were at the bottom and everybody was expecting lower, we had this Traders Dynamic Index at the bottom of your screen have this red line cross above the green. That was the previous most historic day in Bitcoin. But back then, back in February, we had this line cross above. Now, I told you very, very clearly what this meant back then, and it was clear that Bitcoin had just entered the bull run. And again, most people will say, hey, Bitcoin is now just entering the bull run. Actually, we're almost a year in the making already. We entered it back here in February when this line crossed above here. This candle right here marked the beginning of the bull run. Just like when we had that same exact cross, it marked the end of the bear market on precisely this candle. Just like it did in the prior cycle when the red line got above the green line, it marked the bottom of the market was in, and that the bull run started right here. So we sat right here in this chair in February, early February, and called that the bull run had just started. Roll the clip. We are either just about to start our bull run, or we may have just started our bull run. So you see, when we have this red line get above this green line, that's when the bull run starts. And you need to follow this red line through the different phases of Bitcoin's cycle. And things become very clear. When you have this red line cross above this green line, that's when phase one of the bull run starts. Now, generally phase one has an explosive move for a few weeks, and then it levels out for multiple months. I told you in a different clip that it's highly likely Bitcoin will not get above 40,000 even through October until Bitcoin has this red line get above the orange line. Roll that clip. Our next level is this orange line. Once we really get above this orange line, that tells us that that price that had already topped months ago is about to be defeated. You can look back here. We got above here with the red. Once we got above with the orange here, that's when the market finally got above 14K. We need this red line to get above this orange line. And until then, it's likely that the market will move sideways, building market structure. So you can see all of the secrets are inside of this chart. And when you use this chart, you can make so much more profit than you would have. This will keep you level-headed, and all the noise that will be on social media and everybody every moment saying up, down, arguing all these ways, you can just have no noise, just the facts and the charts, and you can sit back and relax. Because when this red line crosses above here in the Traders Dynamic Index, the bottom is already in and the bull run started. And if you follow that line, the next cycle is the phase 2 of the bull, right? Phase 1 is when we get above here. The market usually goes sideways for a whole bunch of days and it becomes very boring. And you want to know, when is it going to stop being boring? That's when the red line gets above the orange line and holds as support. That was precisely the start of phase 2. Now keep in mind, phase 2 of the bull builds market structure directly on top of phase 1. Where phase 1 saw all of this resistance, that was the support for phase 2. Both of those cycles move sideways for at least 100 days, right? So we had phase 1, boom, move sideways for, this one was about 200 days. And then hold support on this orange line. That's when phase 2 starts, builds market structure directly on top of phase 1, and also moves sideways for a couple hundred days. But there is a key. There is a key definitive idea and concept that's right here in front of us, and it has to do with this historic move that Bitcoin just made. But as we continue on our journey, we're in 2019, and we're looking at when this red line crossed above the green line, entering phase 1 of the bull, saying that the bottom was already in, and we wait, right? As soon as we get above here, we know phase 1 is going to be explosive. We're going to move up in price, and then it's going to move sideways for multiple hundreds of days until this red line gets above this orange line. That's our telltale sign. When the red line gets above the orange line, it tells us phase 2 has begun, and that was precisely right here in the market. Now, we had that happen for us over a month ago, right? And we had 2 distinct rules. This was number 1. When we have this red line cross above the orange line, we said, hey, phase 2 is going to be starting. You already saw the clip. We said it right here in this chair when we had this red line move above the orange line. That's when the move was going to pull Bitcoin above 40K. We said it back in May of this year. So far, we have the red line on top. Price should level out. Price should be relatively quiet for a period of time until the red line at the bottom of our screen holds support above the orange line. The market could move sideways for multiple months, but Bitcoin is secretly brewing its next major move. And the biggest move to come next is when Bitcoin gets above this orange line. All right. That the market will move sideways until this red line crosses the orange line. Look at what's happened since the red line crossed the orange line. It's been an explosive move, but it's not finished because what we just had. This is history in the making. This red line just crossing above the green. Doesn't happen very often. It actually needs to happen in tandem with what's happening down here. What is also highly important is if you zoom in on this chart right here, that very red line that we have been following all calendar year for 2023 is about to cross this blue line. Now, things will get very crazy if that were to happen, and I'm going to explain what that will mean here in a moment. But now that we've got this Traders Dynamic Index at the bottom of our screen, and if you're looking for the settings, they are right here. We have the Rank Correlation Index in the middle of our screen. If you need those settings, they are right here. And now we have this perfect system set up to help us make substantially more money than everyone else. This is a huge cheat code, and this should be illegal because it makes Bitcoin so simple and easy to understand. But we're following this red line, and we're getting very, very close to this blue line. But now let's draw our attention to the middle of our chart. the rank correlation index, because that's where we've just had this historic close. What we've been waiting for all of this time has happened. We were waiting for confirmation. So in the rank correlation index, what we notice is that when this red line crosses above this green line, that's when the market really starts moving. And if you follow this red line, right when it crossed above this green line was here. And then we did this with price. We did this, we went up, we had explosion until that same red line crossed back through the blue. As soon as it crossed back through the blue, the top was in. Look right here in the chart. Red crossed through the blue, top in. Look right here, follow the next cycle. Red line, cross through the blue line, happened right here, market cycle top. So we have these right in front of our eyes. And by the way, when are we going to have a market cycle top? When this very red line right here crosses below this blue line, which happens to be way down here at the moment, which is good for us, okay? We don't want this blue line getting close to our red line. That's when the market cycle top will be in. We're still far from that. We have entered a new phase in Bitcoin, and it's time to celebrate a little bit. And you may be wondering, like, should I be investing now? Should I be waiting for a drop? Let me identify what you should be doing in terms of buying or selling. Back when we were at 15, 16K, I said repeatedly, it's more risky to be out of Bitcoin than in Bitcoin. It's highly likely that the bottom is in. It's highly likely that the bottom is in. The problem is 85% of the world was screaming the opposite of me. I seemed like the idiot on the other side of the fence saying, we're not going to go below 10K. The bottom is in. And it's difficult to control your emotions during those times. But when you have cheat codes like this and you go just based on the facts, if you're somebody who likes facts, and you like to look at facts in the charts, hit that subscribe button. There's no better place to be than right here. You're now home. But what we have in front of us is a very interesting display of a power play that Bitcoin has just entered with this cross right here. So as we continue, right, we say that this red line, when it crosses above the green line, that's when the market really starts moving, and it stops moving when that same red line falls back below the blue line. But what we need to do is identify these explosive moves for Bitcoin. And by the way, at the end of the video, one of the most popular things that I discuss is my 1 meal per day, my intermittent fasting, because health is wealth. I'm going to give an update on that at the end of the video. But here we are. What we need are two things to confirm that we're in phase 2 of the bull. We need the Traders Dynamic Index to have the red line confirmed as support above the orange line. And we have to have this red line and the rank correlation index be above the green. If both of those things are true, we have entered phase 2 of the bull. Now keep in mind, the bottom of the market is here. Phase 1 is this rise in action that builds market structure directly on top of the resistance from the bottom of our market. If you think of it like walking up the stairs. So we had this resistance during the bottom of the market. Phase 1 is built directly on top of that. What used to be our resistance is now our support. And the same thing is true for phase 2. Phase 2 of the bull, which is precisely this move right here for about 200 days, it was built directly on top of our prior resistance. Why is that important? We know the exact levels that Bitcoin is going to be playing with for the next 5 months. And I'm going to unveil it in this video. So we had phase 1 here, phase 2 here, following the same exact rules. And we did the same exact thing in the next cycle. We looked for the red line to be on top of the orange, and we looked for the red line in the rank correlation index to be on top of the green. Once both of those things were true, we entered phase 2 of the bull. And if you remember, back in September of 2020, phase 2 of the bull was explosive. We went from about 11K up to 70. It was astronomically enormous, right? Now, mind you, what we did back then was having this red line finally above the orange and this red line finally above the green at the same time. time. Why is that so important? Both of those things being true at the same time, because that is the exact moment in time that we saw this move from 11K up to 70. This is no joke. I mean, you can look at the previous cycle. When we were finally above here in the Trader Dynamic Index, holding support here, red line above here, look at what happened. It will continue to happen until we have this red line cross below this blue line. Once it does, the bottom is in, or the top is in, sorry. So here we are. Now we need to discuss the history in the making that has just taken place. And we've got to fast forward to what is happening present day, because the markets are going crazy. But this is all by design. Way earlier in the year, we said that Bitcoin will not get above 40K until this red line crosses above the orange line. Nobody is making calls like that based on facts in the charts. That's why you just subscribed. The internet keeps receipts. So here we are today. We said that once this red line crosses above here, it's highly likely we're in phase 2 of the bull. We were just waiting for confirmation here. We had to wait a whole extra month. We had to wait, 5 weeks or so. And then we just had this happen. Hot off the press, Bitcoin is officially in phase 2 of the bull. It's official. There's no denying it. They tried to laugh at us when we said Bitcoin was in phase 1 of the bull. We said it back in February based on the facts and the charts. They laughed at us. 85% of the people said we were going to go below 10K. 85%. What did we do? Bitcoin just went from 15K up to where it is now. You be the judge. Do you want to go based on the facts and the charts, or somebody's emotional opinion that are trying to get clicks and views? We go based on the facts and the charts, the cold hard facts that actually help people. So here we are in phase 2 of the bull. Some people will say, oh, the bull run just started. They're 1 year late. They're 1 year late. We're almost 1 year into the bull. Literally, the bull run did not just start. It started almost 1 year ago when we had this red line cross above the green, literally. So here we are in the historic phase 2. We have confirmed the historic phase 2. We are getting very close to this red line crossing the blue line. Let's explore that, and then let's end it with the historic, the monumental that Bitcoin is just doing. And we need to talk about the price ranges, and then we'll get to the 1 meal per day intermittent fasting. We'll start with this blue line. If you follow this red line with these different cycles, let's go back to the 2016 cycle. When this red line crosses above finally the blue line, look at the parabolic move that happened next. Once we finally had this red line cross the blue line in the Traders Dynamic Index, this was the absolute parabolic move, but it was the move into phase 3 of the bull. This is Bitcoin's next major move, phase 3, which will likely get above a very distinct price that I'm going to unveil in a moment, a price that you're not ready for. But phase 3 happens when this red line crosses above the blue line. That's, you can see, is the parabolic move. Look at for us. This parabolic move happened here, right? When this red line crossed above the blue, this was absolute parabolic move, right? This was a parabolic move. This was a parabolic move. We're getting close to that. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but it's likely that this is not going to happen in the near future. Let me explain why. Bitcoin has just entered phase 2 of the bull. Phase 2 of the bull has a very distinct set of rules. Phase 2 of the bull needs to build proper market structure directly on top of what our resistance was. Our resistance was at about 31K. That is going to be our support. Now, the problem with phase 2 of the bull, and we're going to do a deeper dive video on phase 2 of the bull with the chart looking like this, right? We're going to show you that a little bit later with the distinct rules. But for now, just know that Bitcoin has officially moved into phase 2 of the bull. It will build market structure directly on top of phase 1, but it's not likely to get above 48K. And again, this is something that we said about 8 months ago, that the best case scenario for 2023 is Bitcoin to get to 48K. A lot of people laughed at us because they were waiting for below 10K, but here we are. We're knocking on the door. We're right there. This is all based on actual facts in the charts. You can see the phase 2 was here, got nowhere close to the previous all-time high during phase 2. Phase 2 was starting here, nowhere close to the previous all-time high. We're in phase 2 now. We're not going to be close to the previous all-time high, and it's going to be based on market structure. And we've just got a tremendous amount of market structure at 48K. It's highly unlikely Bitcoin gets above 48K in this calendar year. It will get above 48K next year, but at a very distinct point in the market, which is already identified in the charts here. So there's a lot going on. We can celebrate a little bit, but in terms of time to buy or time to sell, I mean, as I told you, you want to buy at the bottom of the market. And if you're really, really late, phase 1. I told you this repeatedly through the whole phase 1, because a lot of people were still waiting for below 10K. Even though we were in phase 1 of the bull, I kept saying, it's more risky to be out of Bitcoin than in Bitcoin. We're in phase 1 of the bull. You want to buy at the bottom of the market. And if you completely miss the bottom, you want to buy now in phase 1. You can literally close your eyes and buy at any point in time in phase 1. You will look like a superhero. But now it's too late. We're in phase 2. You don't want to be buying anymore. You want to do all of your buying at the bottom of the market, or worst case scenario, phase 1. If you somehow missed all of this, that means you've missed all of my videos, and you need to hit the subscribe button, because if you missed the bottom of the market, it's because of emotion. If you missed phase 1, it's because of your ego, literally. Or you didn't find my channel because I was screaming it, okay? So you do not want to be buying in phase 2 and phase 3 of the bull. That's too late. It's too late. You can make some small gains, but again, you need to get buttoned up with your strategy. So Bitcoin has officially entered phase 2 of the bull, and we need to talk about the intermittent fasting. So those of you who don't know the story, this is about 2 years ago. I woke up one day, I looked at the scale, and for my whole life, I was always a skinny dude. And everybody kept saying, oh, once you get into your 20s, you're going to start gaining weight. And that didn't happen. And once you get into your late 20s, you're going to start gaining weight. That didn't happen. Once you get into your early 30s, you're going to start gaining weight. Didn't happen. I've always had incredible metabolism. But about 2 years ago, deep into my 30s, I looked at the scale and I couldn't believe it. What had happened? Somehow I gained all of this weight. I needed to make a change. So I came across this 1 meal a day concept, this intermittent fasting concept. It was actually from the creator of Twitter, right? Who also created Square. I was listening to an interview with him, and he had learned it from Wim Hof. And I was like, okay, this is legit. I'm going to try this. So I started doing 1 meal per day. So for breakfast, I have water, 2 liters of water. For lunch, I have juice, fresh juice, about 1 liter of juice. And for dinner, I'm allowed 1 meal, right? And this completely changed my life. This has given me a complete rejuvenation of what I'm doing. And most people are focused on making money, making money, making money. Health is wealth. You can't become very successful without focusing on your health. Find me a billionaire who has not focused on their health. Find me one. You won't be able to. They go hand in hand. So if you really want to become more wealthy, you have to focus on your health. You've got to. And every time I do this update, the comments are flooded with people who have tried this, right? Try it. Intermittent fasting does remarkable things for the body. It rejuvenates the cells. You have the higher energy level. You have more clarity. You have more focus. You have more creativity. All of the things you need to make money. Gives you more when you focus on it. And by the way, I lost like 30 pounds. And I kept it off. I lost 30 pounds like a year and a half ago. And then for the last year and a half, I kept it at the same weight. So the weight I'm at now is actually the weight I was in high school. I repeat, the weight I'm at now was the weight I was at in high school. Most people want to go back to their wedding day photos. I went back to high school, okay? So you can do it. It's been phenomenal for the body. And then I've introduced the 3-2-1 rule. in tandem with this rule. The 3-2-1 rule, if you're not familiar with it, is 3 hours before you go to bed, you stop drinking fluids. 2 hours before you go to bed, you stop eating any food for any reason. 1 hour before you go to bed, you wear the glasses that block blue light. This drastically enhances your sleep quality, which directly correlates to your health, which directly correlates to your wealth. These things implement into your life and watch the dramatic change that takes place. Share this video with somebody who needs it. Hit that subscribe button. Throw a thumbs up on this video. If you haven't done so already, you can follow us at Twitter at CryptoCrewU on Twitter. And I'll see you right back here in the next video. Do you want to know when to buy and when to sell? Click this video right now.